From the moment the camera switched on that night, something felt different. The room was full of light, applause, and familiar faces, yet all eyes kept drifting toward one person, Yoona. It was not because she stood at the center of the stage or made a dramatic entrance. Instead, the pull came from something quieter, something subtle, something the camera seemed almost eager to uncover. Each time a certain actor walked out, the broadcast team reacted almost instantly. The lens slid away from the stage and zoomed in on Yoona, as if following a signal only they could hear. People in the audience noticed it too. A whisper moved through the room, the kind that makes you sit up a little straighter, the kind that tells you a story is unfolding even before anyone explains what it is. Why would a global broadcast focus so intently on one expression, one reaction, one brief moment on Yoona's face? What were the producers hoping viewers would catch? By the end, many believed the answer was hidden in moments camera refused to ignore. For many longtime fans, especially those who have followed Yoona since her early 20s, there is something comforting about watching her at events like this. She carries herself with a calm grace that never feels forced. Even in a crowded hall, she has a way of making the moment feel warm, almost familiar, as if you are watching a niece or daughter step into a new stage of her life. That sense of connection is why so many viewers pay close attention to even the smallest shift in her expression. To understand why her reactions that night drew so much attention, we have to look at the two men who appeared beside her on the broadcast. Junho has been by her side in the past, not in real life, but in a drama that touched many hearts. Their partnership in Kingdaland built a kind of on-screen comfort that older audiences especially appreciated. It brought back the simple, gentle feeling of classic romance storytelling, the kind that leaves you smiling long after the episode ends. Then there is Lee Chaemin, a younger actor who recently worked with Yoona in Bon Appetit, Your Majesty. His energy is different, fresh, thoughtful, quietly attentive. Their interactions on set created a spark that viewers noticed right away. It was not loud or dramatic, it was the kind of chemistry that grows naturally, the kind that makes people curious. If you felt something in the way Yoona looked at either of them, or noticed a moment that stayed with you, feel free to share it in the comments. Sometimes your insights reveal details the rest of us overlook. Everything shifted the moment Lee Chaemin stepped onto the stage. The crowd kept applauding, but the room seemed to tighten with a quiet sense of expectation. The camera did not hesitate. It moved straight to Yoona as if something about that moment demanded to be captured. And then came the reaction that set the internet buzzing. Yoona smiled, not the polished smile she gives for the public, but something softer, brighter, and unexpectedly genuine. People who watched the live broadcast said it felt almost personal, as if they were witnessing a private moment that slipped into view by accident. The way her eyes softened at the sight of Chaemin carried a warmth that did not match the usual formality of award ceremonies. It sparked immediate whispers online. Some viewers claimed they sensed a hint of affection. Others believed it revealed a comfort that usually comes only from familiarity. But the night held another turning point. When Junho walked out later in the program, the camera returned to Yoona again. This time her expression changed. There was no bright burst of surprise. Instead, she looked calm, reflective, almost nostalgic. It was the kind of look you give someone who has shared a meaningful chapter with you, someone whose presence brings memories rather than new emotions. Viewers instantly noticed the contrast. What struck many fans was how naturally her reactions revealed two very different energies. With Chaemin, there was a spark, a brightness that suggested possibility. With Junho, there was steadiness, a familiarity shaped by time and shared work. The camera director seemed to understand this dynamic because the edits felt intentional. Every cut between the actors and Yoona built a story without using a single line of dialogue. It was quiet but powerful. By the end of the segment, viewers were convinced they had witnessed something meaningful. The room itself had reacted. A few guests glanced toward Yoona before returning their eyes to the stage, as if they too sensed an unspoken thread connecting her to both men in different ways. Whether it was coincidence or something deeper, the moment revealed more than a scripted exchange ever could. It left audiences wondering what truth might lie beneath those brief expressions the camera refused to overlook. It stayed with many viewers afterward. Once the excitement settled, many viewers found themselves replaying the footage, trying to understand why Yoona's reactions carried so much weight. It was not simply because she smiled or looked thoughtful. It was the way those small moments felt honest. Yoona has always been admired for her poise, but she rarely reveals more emotion than she intends to. That is why, for many longtime fans, these brief expressions felt like tiny windows into something real, even if no one could fully explain it. Some people suggested that the reason her reactions stood out was because she did not try to control them. They appeared natural, almost unguarded, as if she let herself be present instead of performing. It reminded older viewers of how meaningful small gestures can be. Sometimes the softest glance tells the most powerful story. Sometimes a moment you do not plan becomes the one people remember. There was also the matter of timing. Her smile for Chaemin came at a moment when the internet was already discussing their recent drama and the warm connection they shared on screen. Her gentler look toward Junho came after years of respect and familiarity built through past work. These layers created a contrast that felt too striking to overlook, even for those who do not usually read into celebrity interactions. But perhaps the real reason the audience held on to these reactions is simpler. People connect with sincerity. They respond when something feels true, even if the truth remains unspoken. In a night filled with bright lights and carefully planned moments, Yoona's quiet responses stood out as something human. They did not reveal a secret, but they did remind viewers why they have cared for her all these years. Looking back on the moments that unfolded that night, it becomes clear why viewers kept talking about Yoona long after the show ended. The cameras may have highlighted the scenes, but her quiet presence gave them meaning. The smile she offered at the sight of Chaemin felt bright and spontaneous, touched with a warmth that surprised many people. The calm expression she showed when Junho appeared carried a different depth, shaped by respect and a sense of shared history. Seen together, these reactions created a contrast that stayed with fans who watched the event live and those who later replayed the clips online. What stood out most was how these subtle moments reminded viewers of the emotional truth behind public appearances. Even in a world filled with bright lights and careful planning, there are still times when a person's real feelings rise to the surface. Those small glimpses stayed with older audiences who value sincerity more than spectacle. For them, Yoona's expressions were not revelations. They were simple human moments in a setting that often hides them. As time passes, people may forget who won each award or what speeches were given, but many will remember the gentle honesty in Yoona's face. The feeling stayed. This video was created based on recent information from social media and online reactions, with a few added details to keep the story flowing naturally. There is no intention to mislead anyone. If you notice anything that should be corrected, please let us know in the comments. And if you would like to stay updated with the latest news, please remember to like, share, and subscribe.